Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us right here on Midday, Kentucky. It's a little rainy outside, a little cold. Winter is coming.
It's on its way.
I'm liking it. It feels good out there.
It does.
Are you a Game of Thrones fan?
No, it's too violent for me.
Oh, Lord.
No, don't look at me.
No. That's right. I asked you that question because last Sunday night was the last night, and I had to re-watch it again last night in bed for the end of season 7. And boy, I love it. Can you go on our Facebook page, Midday Kentucky, and tell me whether you love it as much as me? Because I just love that show, and it got a little bit risque, the last episode of season 7.
It was risque when it started.
I know. It's pretty much
I remember, I think I only watched 2 episodes.
We also knew that it was going to be that way because of information that we had coming out. But gosh, I love it. I love it. I just want to share that with you all, everyone. In case you're sitting at home and you want to, binge watch some TV, start on season 1. I could watch it and watch it and watch it.
I really do want to, because a lot of people.
Well, didn't we work out 174 hours?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, Doug's away. What else are you doing?
No, it's just I've got the kids. Hello, I've got kids'
They're
schedules
at school.
and cooking. I have to cook dinner.
Oh, now we know that's not. Look, you do give me a daily laugh. You really do.
I know I do. I'm glad.
Okay, I want to get into it. How are you, dear?
Hey, doing well.
You're in the middle of training. What are you training for?
I am running a marathon in October, and Troy does not believe me that I'm training for it. But
no, well, first of all, let me say,
chunky people can run too.
I didn't say you were chunky. Don't say that. No, because now people will think I said that. I did not say that. I didn't. Where are you doing your?
I'm doing it in Amsterdam.
Yes, that's the part that I think is fabulous. That you're actually getting on a plane and going to Amsterdam. I did not say.
No, you did say you don't believe me.
Well, no, because we've had training exercises on here on the show. If you remember last week, we did, or the week before, we actually had our trainer come in and show you some tips on training for the marathon. And you're exhausted after the 4 minutes of training.
Because that wasn't running, that was strength training.
Okay, I'm just...
There is a difference.
Listen,
there is a difference.
You can always ask me if I'm going to tell the truth, or if, and 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty well there. Just
okay,
keep
well,
it real,
this one
people.
time out of 10, I am training for the marathon.
Well, and I asked Katie about it because I wanted to know how long it was taking her to run that far. She ran, you ran 12 miles, is that
Yeah,
right?
well, I run very slow. I do a 10:30 mile, but that's just the pace that feels good for me.
That's not slow, honey.
So I
not?
like
No.
it.
See, I don't know.
I mean, it's a light jog, but for me, that's just a good pace, and that's what I enjoy. So yeah, I mean, it takes multiple hours, but
Okay.
I like it.
So
That
how
feels
long
so
do you
good.
think
That's
that
great.
you will... we're going to follow this journey.
Okay.
Okay, how long do you think it'll take you to run this marathon? 25 miles?
Well, I've done 2 fulls before. My fastest is about 4 hours, 40 minutes. I'm trying to do 4:30.
Is that a long way? Is that slow?
Well, yeah, but I'm not a competitive runner,
But it's a personal goal.
obviously. It's more of a personal goal.
Okay.
But,
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I'm also doing it because the week before that marathon is my 10-year high school reunion, and I want to look good. So
Nice.
The week
I'm
before.
hoping that I run a lot over the next month
so you're
and
gonna
look good.
I went to my 10-year school reunion, and I realised that I probably shouldn't have gone. Do you
Oh,
know what I mean?
no.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it just wasn't working.
Well, I'll go if I look good. If
what I
I
mean?
don't, I'm not going.
Yeah, and then you're also going to say to
You
them,
always look good.
by the way, I look fantastic, and tomorrow I'm off to Paris. I'm running in a marathon.
Right,
there."
right.
We got you. How are you?
I'm doing great.
We just saw a post
I'm
on...
just sitting on the couch eating bonbons while she's out running marathons.
Are you really sitting on the couch eating bonbons?
Sitting on the couch munching on something.
Well,
yeah.
don't go getting out of shape. Doug wants to come back and have something to,
I do need to get back to the gym. I've been struggling since school came back. Now I'm struggling getting to the gym, and it's
Well,
freaking
Doug's
me
lost
out.
a
I
lot
don't
of
like
weight
it.
while he's been away over in Afghanistan. And, you were all lovey-dovey this morning with the phone that we just saw picture.
Yes, he pulled up a picture of Doug, and I was like, oh.
Well, it sort of popped up. I didn't pull it up on purpose.
Whatever.
Okay, everyone. You ready for this?
I am.
Okay. Are you... this is a topic that we want to talk about since you just went away with your dad.
Okay.
Okay, mothers have a large amount of influence over their daughters when it comes to femininity, but the father's role has a large influence nowadays. So when it comes to raising girls, mums often get most of the pressure okay? And the credit, whether regarding issues when it comes to female problems or boy problems or makeup tips, mum is usually the first person girls turn to. Well, the sideline, and on the sidelines, it's dads. And now what they're saying is dads are having a bigger role in their daughters' lives and are becoming more influential over their daughters' upbringing and broader sense of being who they are. What do you think?
I totally agree with that, but I think that works both ways, and I've read a lot of studies about this, that it's actually the opposite sex parent that can sometimes be the most crucial relationship. So even
Really?
for young boys, because that's showing them, you know, how to treat a woman, how you interact with women, and maybe a reflection of someone they'll end up with. And I think for little girls, it's the same too, and also, you know, being respected by men at a young age, and that influence, I think the opposite sex parent is always, I think, I don't know if I would say more important, but I'm not surprised by this study.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with my father. He was my buddy. He was my best friend, and you know, I mean, growing up, he like, you know, would put me in the wagon behind the lawnmower, you know, and pull me around the yard and stuff like that. You know, and go fishing. We would go night fishing. We did all kinds of things together. So, you know, he was my buddy. And even in college, he would sometimes just show up at my dorm or at the house that I was living with my girlfriends. He would just show up sometimes just to go out and grab a bite to eat, and then he would drive all the way back home. It was like 2 hours and 2.5 hours to get back home. Yeah, he was great.
Well, it's funny because as we all look, you probably don't remember, 75 years ago, men weren't even allowed in the delivery room, let alone having more of a say in their daughter's upbringing, because it wasn't part of the culture where men or fathers had that big role, did they?
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
so I think things are changing. This is a new study that came out of Los Angeles, and they were saying that men really do have almost, if not more important roles on their daughters with physical activities, psychological activities, and that, you know, they really do have more of a hands-on role. And you were saying that, I think it was Monday when you first came back, that this was the first time that you actually went away with just you and your dad. Do you think those times make you closer and you say things around him that you wouldn't if your other sister or brothers were there?
Yeah, I think definitely. And I think being 104, you don't realize that you don't spend time with just you and your parent. So as I said, I just went to Peru last week with my dad, and it's a time, you know, I'll never forget that kind of time just with my dad, especially in my adult life, to spend that time together. But I know a lot of my friends that are closer with their fathers and their mothers, so I'm not surprised by that at all.
I'm
I know
not
you and
either.
your dad were very
Okay.
close.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, there's a topic that you want to talk about when it comes to spanking your child, whether it's you should or whether you shouldn't. And this is a topic that's been around for quite some time.
Yeah, now it's coming back up in the news this past week. Mayim Bialik, she's in Big Bang Theory. She posted a video advocating against spanking your children. She says that the argument of spanking your children to get them to behave the way you want to, or they'll turn out to be spoiled if you don't. She basically says that is immoral in a way, and she's also saying that advocating against spanking helps you build a compassionate, and she says, respectful parent-child relationship. So, I don't know. It's a topic that's been out there for a while, but coming back in the news this week. And I mean, Lisa, you have kids.
I do.
Where do you fall on that?
I'm not a big believer in spanking. I do believe that you need to, have a respectful
Take a second.
relationship. Yeah, you have to calm down, especially anything out of anger. You really have to take a moment as a parent to really take a breath, give yourself that moment, and then address the issue with the child. But I mean, there's times where, a little spank on the bottom, sometimes. I mean, if they're in danger of injuring themselves, you have to put a stop to that. And if you've already told them 2 times and, they're still doing it, then a little spank on the bottom, might be necessary, and a timeout, at that point. But, quite honestly, Doug and I didn't really spank very often at all, I would say.
And
Is there an age cutoff?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what you're going to say?
Well, I was going to ask a similar question because, and I also have to say, I like the fact that at least you're honest enough to say, because a lot of mothers say, oh no, I would never do that. Well, yeah, we know you have. Do you know what I mean? And whether it's a spank on the hands, or like, don't
Right.
touch that, or
Right.
that gets hot, and they're still testing you.
Right.
I don't know whether I could be a parent to do that because I don't think I have that personality
Right.
where I can take a breath. You know, I really don't think if I've said to you 2 or 3 times, I think I would give you a good whack around the backside. And I'm being honest
Yeah.
there. I don't know whether I have that control.
Yeah, I don't know.
Out of fear more than anything.
You want to.
Yeah.
Sometimes you really do. As a parent, you want to. There's times where you're just like, you know, oh my goodness gracious. They
Well,
put
listen.
you know, they've tested you and pushed you very
Yeah.
far, but you really do have to take that breath in that moment.
Well, my father, I do remember, my mother was a very, and I mean seriously strict woman, like to the point of ridiculousness. And I remember one day, I think I did something wrong with the horses or something, and my mother got into my father and said, take that boy into his room and give him a crack or something. Do you know what I mean? I won't say the words that she said. And I went into my room knowing I was going to get a good whacking. And my father said, when I hit the bed, I want you to scream out as if I was hitting you. Because my father didn't have a
Right.
mean bone in his body. But my mother would backhand you without even looking
That's
and hit
how
you.
my mother
And you'd be
was.
on the ground within seconds. And look, the thing is, I have to say to you, when you have a dreadful child like I was, you know, it's deserved sometimes. Do you know what I mean? I was a hell of a kid. And I'm honest enough to say that. But I also think there's a beating
Right. There's a
and
huge
there's
difference.
a tap on
Right.
the backside.
Right.
Or a slap on the hand.
Right.
Or I think there's a line.
There is.
You know,
There
my
is.
mother was too far the other way. And I used to see my friends, and they have kids, and they'd smack their kiddies on the backside or slap their hands. And then I felt so bad because then you could see the parents tearing up, like
Right.
now their kid's crying.
Right.
You know, it hurts
It
you
does.
just as much, I think.
It does. It
Yeah.
does. I don't like it at all. I mean,
Yeah.
in the look on their face, like if I did do a little tap on, let's say, Harrison's bottom, you know, if he did
Yeah.
something, and the sadness. I mean, and it's not even that I spanked him enough to make him cry, but he was so hurt that I was angry with him that he would start crying, you know, and it didn't even hurt
I
him.
think
you know,
this
just,
leads
oh,
us straight
awful.
into the next topic, Lisa,
Yeah.
that you're bringing
Yeah.
up. And it's about conventional gender roles in the family home and also in society, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it was a study that was done by the University of Illinois, and they looked at 1,500 men and 1,800 women. And what they were looking at were the traditional gender roles, and when these gender roles, especially in making money for the household. So when those gender roles were reversed, you know, how did that affect their well-being? And what they found was that women that would leave the work, or women that were the breadwinners, should I say, they found that their well-being, that they were actually depressed, more depressed than women that had the traditional role of staying at home with the kids. And that was something that, and then also with the men, if the men were stay-at-home dads versus being the breadwinners of their family,
Yeah.
they were more depressed. So switching those roles made both men and women depressed.
So
more
women
depressed.
who became the breadwinners were depressed, but
Yes.
then when men stayed at home, they got depressed.
Yes. And what do you guys think about that? I mean, you know,
Interesting.
Doug and I have fluctuated with our jobs, you know, as far as, you know, bringing in money, but the majority of the time we were bringing in about the same amount of money into our household. So, and we share all of the duties of the household too. We both share everything. So, you know, one of us wasn't really taking on all of the responsibilities of one area
Like you are now.
Exactly. Exactly. Hence, I'm depressed. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So, what do you guys think about that switching of gender roles?
I don't
like
have a
that?
problem with it.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it, but I'm wondering if it's not so much the activity that the person is doing that makes them depressed. It's just the societal pressures of it. Maybe how they
Yes.
see they're perceived as a stay-at-home dad, maybe depressed by the perception of themselves. Because I know stay-at-home dads, and you know they love being home with their kids. So
I know
don't
stay-at-home dads
Well,
too, yeah.
and that's exactly what they said in the study was that men, when they stay at home, they feel that society is viewing them negatively,
Okay.
and that's where the depression.
Well, we
is
need
coming
to stop
from.
judging as a society.
We do.
Do
We
what I
do.
mean?
Yeah.
But we all judge. It is what it is, people.
Yeah.
It's just better not to voice that judgment. If you want to find out more information about it, head over to our Midday Kentucky Facebook page and tell us what you think on our Table Talk topics. Hey, up next, live music by Whitney. Plus, later on, Alison Davis will be here live in the studio. I said, come on, Dal, come on in. I want to roll something up. Vegetarian spring rolls, that is.
Nice.
Keep it right here, everyone. You're watching Midday Kentucky.